Good evening and welcome along to another episode of Not Another Rangers podcast. It wouldn't be a season at Rangers without that rollercoaster feeling. 1 minute you're up, 1 minute you're down, but just finally, is that optimism in the air? Our charity shop of unwanted items are slowly but surely finding buyers. So at long last, is this squad about to get the facelift it so desperately needs? We found out today that Todd Cantwell doesn't really fancy life in Scotland. A signing that promised to deliver so much will be heading back down south with his tail between his legs, much like a female boxer at this year's Olympics. And tomorrow provides us with a chance to erase the ghost of Ross County past. Nothing less than a win will do before a week of battle fever commences. And joining me to discuss all that and more is our famous five, Mr. Scott Kerr, Ricky Forbes, JD and Ross Clark. Scott, how are we?
I'm fine, Davey. Looking forward to this because we've got the troublesome twosome on the night ways, so we'll see how it goes.
And Ricky, how's yourself, mate?
What a five-a-side team, mate. Honestly, bring them on. What a five-a-side team.
And JD, how's things with yourself, mate?
Aye, good, mate. I mean, you're trying hard to bring boys on. He's just you brought Ross on the night and it's just making me look even fucking better, man.
And Ross Clark, how's yourself?
Mate, I'm really good, man. I'm pining for Fashion Sakara, but that big smile on JD's mouth, right now.
That's a good place to start, to be fair, because obviously Michael Beale resurfaced during the week, and I think we covered that on the Mondays podcast. But a player that's going along similar fashion, for a better pun, is Todd Cantwell. And Scott, if we take what the manager says today at length, he said that the reason he wants to leave, it's not to do with Rangers, it's to do with Scotland. Do you buy into that?
I don't really know. I stuck up for Todd Cantwell so much, Davey, when he first came through the door. And I stuck up for him in Clermont. Kind of target him during that game, taking him off then after it. But I think the problem with Cantwell, a lot of times Todd Cantwell, I think he has to look up himself because he's not got long left in football. What is he, mid-20s? That's no long, because if he keeps going the way he's going, clubs aren't going to go near him because he's still in a decent wage and he's not willing to put in anything because he just wants to leave. Listen, you just can't. I know football players think I'm very different from anybody else, but in a normal work life, if you don't go with something in your work, you just can't say I'm not coming today, but you're still paying me. These things don't happen. So look at Hadji, different example, right? But Cantwell's got to have a long look at himself before he goes anywhere, because if he doesn't, he'll end up in the same position as is in at the moment.
Ricky, if we take what Scott's saying there in regards to Cantwell, his first 6 months did provide us with that positivity going into the next season ahead, but he's flattered to deceive since then. In Old Firm games especially, he looks lost out on the pitch. He carries himself on social media, with the big talk, but he doesn't walk the walk. Do you think it's best that he does leave, and sooner the better, in this transfer window?
There's two ways to answer that question. He's a kid that blames everyone else for his own problems. You can see that. I don't know if you're going to say it's a new generation thing, but it's never his fault, you know. He's in these situations all the time with social media. He's fighting with people over social media. He's tweeting, even this week, his tweet with a single guy sitting in the stand, and then the fans only support me when we're winning things. What a lot of garbage, honestly. If he was turning up in Old Firm games, like last year in the semi-final against Hearts, he had a decent game, I thought, you know. And in the Celtic game, in the final, he did create a chance for Dessers, and he wasn't. He was still crap, but he was like 6 out of 10. You could actually see it. But the player that he thinks he is to the actual player that he is night and day, you know. But the sad situation is, mate, right, to answer it another way, if we don't sell him before the end of the window, then you can't have him sitting doing nothing. We've got to do something with him, you know. If he doesn't go out on loan, I mean, I'm very confident Hadji's going to go out on loan. Davies looks like he's gone today, which is great. Hopefully Matondo, but if he doesn't go on loan next week, then we can't have him sitting doing absolutely nothing. he's too valuable a player, you know.
And JD, if we take that point that Ricky touches on, Yanis Hadji, obviously the conversation that took place between Clement and his agent was really to do with the fact that there must be that wage clause in there, that if he plays X amount of appearances this season, then his wage obviously goes up by a considerable amount. But if we take Todd Cantwell as example, Yanis Hadji's playing B-team games, still involved heavily in training. Todd Cantwell is nothing to do with anything at the moment at Rangers, and we're paying him a pretty decent sum. How do you take to that? Because that doesn't sit well with me.
I tweeted that honestly about half an hour ago. I'm all right with it. I'm fine with Cantwell not playing because we need to get rid of him. So I would rather we didn't risk him getting injured. Now, he's probably been like that as well. Listen, I want to go. How about you don't play me in any games and I'll get my agent to get me a move? I know Paul was saying there, look, we can't go cheap. I'm at the stage now, like the old apathy stage. I'm all right with, see if we get $1 million for Cantwell, I couldn't really care less. I'm actually still back at the point I said last week where sell boys for £1 if we need to get rid of the market, because it's releasing so much space in our wage structure to get rid of maybe Davies, Cantwell, Hadji, and Matondo. You see if we pulled in 4 or 5 million for the 4 players, I would be buzzing about that because it's the wages that you're releasing, freeing up for that. So, and then you can be, and if it's loan deals, you bring in loan deals, but we would get a really decent player on loan for 30 grand a week. So I'd be fine with that. I think the Hadji one is different. I think Hadji, I know there's been a lot of talk about him he's gone in a bit. I think he's kind of proven that I think he would be happy to stay. On the Cantwell thing, he does get down the road with his ponytail between his legs because he's promised much and delivered not much. So I'm cool with them all going, to be honest. I'd be really happy if the 4 that I've just mentioned all leave in the next couple of days and we've got 2 or 3 replacements lined up, perhaps, even if they're loan deals. But I'm happy that he's not playing because the last thing we would need to see Cantwell get an injury and then you are landed with him for the rest of the season or until January. I still have this wee niggling feeling that if it doesn't happen, he'll just sit there. I think he will. Well, we probably need to then integrate him and say, okay, we'll get you until January at least. I think it's too far gone now with Todd Cantwell with the fans. Maybe with the dressing room, I don't know. I don't know how. Back in the day, people who like they would have been for Rangers, you don't want to play, don't bother coming back, and the players in the club wouldn't want him back in the squad. But maybe different nowadays. He's not as good a player as we all originally thought, or he thinks. So I'm not sure it's a massive loss, albeit he does have talent, which is so frustrating.
Ross, how would you sum up Todd Cantwell's Rangers career?
A damp squib, mate. I would say it's a damp squib because he started off, as the boys have said, so much promise. The fact you were getting a player who you knew of him for English leagues, but obviously maybe not having watched as much of him, you knew you were getting a player who had early promise and had maybe lost his way. And how many players have we done this with now, but where we think we're going to be the team that changes them? But what I'll tell you is the same as I said about Alfredo Morelos and the same as I've said about several other players in the past, is that you throw the toys at the pram at Rangers, but look at Morelos now. He's knocking about in a farmers league somewhere. The weather might be a bit better, but Todd Cantwell's never going to go to a team who are challenging. And fair play, we've not made it the 2 years he's been here, but he's not going to go to a team that are even in the discussion for Champions League or league titles, unless it's high end in English Championship. But it seems to be that he's even burning his bridges there. It just reminds me of this new generation of people that are coming through who have always got somebody else to blame. Everybody sees it in every walk of life now. Like he's like a wee precious boy that doesn't seem to like criticism. And as I think it was Ricky touched on earlier, like his Instagram post, like Todd Cantwell, Connor Golson was here for how many years? 7 years. Never had a song. Todd Cantwell had one within months. The fans took to Todd Cantwell, and that's something that you'll never be able to take away from Rangers fans. The Rangers fans embraced him. The Rangers fans were excited for the 6 months he put his effort in. The Rangers fans were firmly behind him. And then it got to every time it came to an Old Firm game, it was a stupid booking or it was a stupid tackle to get a yellow card, had to take him off. It was attitude, it was doing all the kicking a player. I don't want you to kick a player, mate. I just want you to get stuck in fairly and toe the right side of the line, because see, putting somebody up in there, it's not going to get you. Jordan Jones found that out. See, just going and kicking a player in an Old Firm game, that doesn't win you Rangers fans over. It cost you another one, Jordan Jones, who came here and thought that when he got to Rangers, that was him, he'd made it. But when you get to Rangers, the work's just beginning, because when you get here, that's when the hard work starts, and that's when you need to up your level, because you're playing at you're not playing at a Norwich where if you draw 2 and win 1 out of 10, it's decent form. You're at a club where everybody expects to win, and don't get me wrong, we're no in the best place at the moment. I'm sure we can all agree here that the Rangers squad's nowhere near where it should be, but he should be a shining light in this Rangers team. And the fact that he's not even allowed to train with him because he wants to chuck it. As soon as the going gets tough, he wants to chuck it. That tells you more about him than it tells you about anybody else.
Davey, see the Cantwell thing on what Ross is saying. See, when he first came, he showed some real glimpses. I think more than that, everybody was really shocked at how hard a worker he was. And that's why I think we took to him. But when the Old Firm games came, he turned into the Joey Barton, as if, who's Callum McGregor? Who are these players? I'm better than them. And he get his arse handed to him time after time after time. And that's when those games, particularly, Rangers fans just, you lose your support then at that point, because doing the running, doing the hard stuff, look brilliant in certain games. These are the games, 4 games, 5 games, maybe a season, where you're really tested. And if you perform in those games and just give us a bit of hard work in all the other games, you will be known as a bit of a legend or a whatever. But he never done that. He lost the fans in the Old Firm games because he was wanting to fight and argue with folk. But he was getting beaten by the footballers on the park. Nobody arguing and pushing and laughing at people.
No, I think that's a fair point. And Kerr, if we take what JD's saying there, and obviously we've been used to the fact that Clement's played with a 10, but see on social media today, we seem to be heavily linked with a Lewis Travis, the Blackburn Rovers captain, who's a sort of defensive midfielder, a 6, if you like, robust, strong in the tackle, can pitch in with the odd goal, but an aggressive type of player. Is maybe Clement in this rumour, because it came from a lot of sources, although there were rumours that he was at the club and that was obviously proved not to be the case, but is that maybe a sign that things are turning and we are maybe going to look to change the way we play going forward? Because I don't think a number 10 suits this group of players. What's your take on it?
I agree. I've said that ages ago. I don't think we should play with a 10, we should play with a 6 and 2 8s. And being linked, I mean, I seen that this morning, Lewis, Travis is linked. I was actually quite happy because I've watched the boy a few times because I watched Championship football, and he's a tidy player. He's a hard worker. He's a good organiser. Like, he's not going to come up here and he's going to be scoring a lot of goals or stuff like that. He's not there flamboyant, but he's a worker. He organises the Blackburn midfield and their defence, and he gets people playing, and he keeps it simple, which is a hard thing to do for a lot of football players. But that's what he does really well, and that's what we need. Somebody just maybe sitting behind Barron and Diamandi and letting them get forward a bit, and somebody just sitting in with a voice. He's experienced. He was a Blackburn captain. He went to Ipswich and he fell out with the previous manager, and then Eustace come back in and started playing him again. But by all accounts, they need to release players as well, and we've been linked them. So I hope he does come. I think he'll do a job for us really well. And listen, by all accounts, he's not on a lot of money at Blackburn, so I don't think he's on anywhere near what the players are on here at the moment. So I hope he does come. But I'm happy we're kind of linked with these guys. Players like this. And I'm not saying players in the English Championship. I'm just meaning guys that can play the 6 role. Listen, I would still give Bailey Rice a game. I would still go back to it, and I'm happy Clement mentioned maybe trying some of these boys because they do need a chance. But I think we need to change the way we play. I think we're too open. I think when we lose the ball, we get hit really bad in the break. We hit in transition a lot, and you can see Barron's working his socks off, and Diamandi's thinking, will I go forward, will I go back? I don't really know where to be. So I think having somebody in there next to him works. And I think if he can bring a 6 in, it means he can maybe give Sterling a run at right back. That's if he can stay fit. He can maybe give Tavernier less games. But I'm happy with linked with players, David, but I'm not happy we've not signed any players. Now, I know we probably will, but I'm fed up with rumours. I just want somebody to be in a picture with you saying they've signed, do you know that way? But I want guys out. I'm happy there's players getting linked to go, but I'm fed up with the rumours, the links in and out. I just want it to happen because we need guys in the door.
See, David, I've been working all day. I seen the Travis thing just as I came on there, but did you say that, because folk were saying he was kicking about the training ground, have you said that's
Curry
been
Romano?
Aye, so the boys for This Is Ibrox got in touch with the club and they posted back what the club had said, that there was nobody at the training ground getting a tour of the...
Where's it came from then? There must be something in it, because I've never heard of the boy, I've never seen him play. The only thing, I mean, I did see Blackburn fans on Twitter, like, no, gutted, but two sides of that, like, they were equally saying he's the type of player who will wind folk up. Like, that took me back to Cantwell. I don't want MD who comes to play a Celtic game. I'm going to wind the Celtic players up. I just need you to come in and play. But equally, I forgot what I was going to say equally. But anyway,
JD, I think he's the replacement that the manager was going on about for John Lundstrom. He's the player that he was speaking about earlier. We're missing that player in the middle of the park that's got that leadership skills, that loves a tackle, that's got that bit of nastiness about them. And to be honest, I think Barron could do with that, man. An experienced player playing beside him. Let him be a bit freer. Let Diamande be a bit freer. Totally agree with Kerr. Get that number 10 in the bin. Make the midfield a bit more solid, because we've been very easy to play through. We're giving up easy chances. So make that midfield stronger. And there's definitely something in it. But Matondo was training today for definite, because he was in the pictures today. So he's definitely not down in England at Blackburn. That's not to say it's not going to happen over the weekend or the start of next week. The rumours are it could be a swap deal with they two. But no, this one definitely looks like a promising player that we're missing in the squad. Raskin's been training this week as well, but Raskin's not number 6. Raskin's more of a bit further forward, like give Barron and Diamande a rest now and again. But this player looks very promising, so I hope we get this over the line.
But did this is what I was going to say, sorry. Did Blackburn not put out a video in the last couple of weeks with him as the captain saying, I'm back and I'm the captain, or was that an old video?
They've done that.
Yeah, they did.
I think they've done that because they fell out with the previous manager. That's why he was put out to Ipswich. Listen, he joined Ipswich and played 9 out of the last 10 games. So the Ipswich manager must have thought he'd done a job for him as well. He's come back and just said, you've got a chance to start off captain again, come back in. But I think they, like every club, they're having to get rid of players maybe on a bit of money, or get rid of guys to bring other guys in, just like we all do. So if it happens, it happens. But I'm just happy we're linked with a player like that. Might not be him, but just happy we're linked with somebody that can play that role, because that's what we're badly missing.
Ross, if I can come to you on Ben Davis, it seems to be an almost done deal. Reputable sources have confirmed that it looks like a loan with an option to buy, that he's heading to Birmingham City. I think he's been the wrong profile type of player that we needed at the club. He lacks that sort of physical prowess that we need in the league. I think £4 million, we won't see a return on that investment. So the fact that he's making his way out the door, is that a positive for you?
I think it's got to be. I think it's got to be a positive, Davey. If, as you say, we've got a guy there who probably is a decent football player, but I was at the first game of the season at Tynecastle, and Kenneth Fargas is 5'6" and probably about 8 stone, and he absolutely ragdolled him the full game. And that's happened too often with Davies. I just don't think he's cut out for the game up here, the rough and tumble. To be honest, I don't even think there's not many games where I can think particularly he's done that great with the ball at his feet either. He's just looked like a centre half that could be playing for a St Mirren or a Kilmarnock or a St Johnstone. He's not looked anything special to me. I just hope that if we get rid of him, it's similar to the proper deal where we've got somebody sitting waiting, and within 2 days we've got a replacement in under this 1 in, 1 out system. And to be honest, I don't think, I wouldn't like to think we would get much worse, to be honest. Possibly replaced with a right-sided centre half if we're going to play proper on the left side. Potentially competition for Suter, who, again, I'm a fan of Suter, but he started the season off shaky, but I would say for the last 2 or 3 games he's been a bit better since Proper came in. So is there a chance to get that partnership gelled together, and it would give a new guy time to come in and settle.
See, on that, obviously we were linked today with Kai JD, the boy for Almeria in Spain, Brazilian defender, 20-year-old. I've seen one video clip where he had a tremendous finish. But for me, if you look at John Souttar, proper, they're similar types of players. They're comfortable with the ball at their feet, and they like to stride out for the back with the ball at their feet. Are we missing a commanding centre-half, somebody in the mould of a Majid Bagheera, a Marvin Andrews, a Lorenzo Amoruso, somebody, even Craig Moore, that will attack the ball at all costs? Because I think we made this mistake when Steven Gerrard was at the club in the midfield. All the players were too samey. For me, our central defenders just now are all too samey. Do you subscribe to that?
I think we need a more of a old-fashioned, perhaps, centre-half in there. Propper's looked okay for me. I don't think he's looked what some people thought he was. Not as bad as I feared it was going to be, but I still think we need someone else in there. And who that is, I don't know. I'm not into the 20-year-old Brazilian centre-half. I'm sorry. €7 million, whatever it was. I'm not into it. I know it was 750, but maybe an obligation or an option for 7 million. Fair enough if he comes and he's brilliant, but I don't think we can take... That feels like a bit of a gamble to me. I think we need somebody who's going to come in and... But then we all thought Propper was perhaps going to be the one that would come in and do that. So I think if Davies goes, which looks like we will bring someone in, who that's going to be, it is worrying, because I would like somebody to come in that was tried and tested, even at our level, which in Scotland, where do you go to? John Souttar was probably the last one, and he's came in, and I'm a big John Souttar fan, but he's struggled this season as well, albeit what Ross is saying, he's getting a lot better. So I'm not sure. I know people are talking about, I know they're saying there about, look what's happened to people like Joe Worrell since he left. But I don't think Ben Davies is a good centre-half, right? He signed for Liverpool, by the way, so there was something there. I think Scotland's no right for him. I think he likes physical football. Will he go and make a career of the game? Aye. Let's remember here, but he's going to get a transfer to English League One. So that's the level he's looking at now.
Care. I think Alex makes a great point here in regards to, well, we're on the subject of defence, we might as well touch on it. He says, do you think it's possible that we try someone else at right back tomorrow with the Celtic game in mind? Because if we look at how James Tavernier has started the season, certainly he looks a mile off it physically, and even just 4 or 5 yard passes inside, his ball distribution is shocking. I think when you see the matchup that Dyson Maida's worked himself back into the Celtic team, he's probably got to play left wing against them. Is this the time to put Sterling at right back with this game in mind?
If he's fit, probably aye, David, but I don't think the manager will. I think the manager will play Tav if Tav's saying he's fit, and if Tav's not leaving, then the manager will play Tavernier. That's just my opinion. I think Clement sticks with his captain, and it will cost us, but that's the way I think the manager's going to go. And Sterling has still got a lot to prove. Sterling, he's done it in glimpses for us. We're all raving about him, this physical guy, but he's always injured as well. You can't rely on him to have a decent run of games. He seems to pick up injuries like Redband does. And I'm fed up with players getting injured, but that's the way he seems to go. I know he was playing with a cast on and he's going to be playing again, he says, so he'll be fine, but I don't know if he'll play Sterling in front of Tavernier. I just don't. I know he done it in the pre-season a couple of times, but Tav isn't fit and he's not really had a pre-season under his belt. But as soon as the season starts, he's back to being first choice at right back. So I think that tells you everything about the manager.
Ricky, is it a concern for you? I know we've got Ross County to play tomorrow, and we'll touch on that. But I think last week's game against St Johnstone exposed our flaws. And whilst I'm talking to Ricky, he's obviously disappeared. So I'm going to take that point to yourself, Ross, and the fact that James Tavernier at right back last week, and we're talking about Kimpioka and Sidibe running off the ball, caused them, great problems. And let's be honest, St Johnstone finished 11th in the Premier, 10th in the Premier League last season. 10th, and that's a front two. One boy who came from non-league football, in January last season, troubling our captain. Is that a major concern for you?
I think the two boys up for St Johnstone are pretty good, by the way. No disrespect to them, but as I said the last time I was on or the time before, James Tavernier stood on the park in front of me and took tablets 3 times during the Hearts match to get through the game. So he's no fit, right? He's playing through the pain, whether that's anti-inflammatories or painkillers he's taking, right? But how can you go and put your faith in Sterling when he can't run a string of games? Can't string a run of games together? So we've got these ideas, and personally, I think Sterling is the future at right back for us because we've played him on the right wing, so we know that when he gets into that area, he's useful. If no, he's not going to give you Tav numbers. But I also think if we can get him bedded in, then he'll also save you at the other end on the defensive side of the game. But the worry for me is always going to be 19 seconds into the Old Firm game last season. James Tavernier switches off. He's that worried about Maida running after him. He waits for Jack Butland to come and deal with it. Butland doesn't come. Tavernier still beats Maida to the ball. And see, rather than just rolling it back to the goalie like he would do against any other team, Maida's that much in his head that he just tries to hoof it into Rose's head, kicks it off him, and they're 1-0 up after 20-odd seconds. That's a mentality thing. That's a mentality thing for me. And when you're going out into the heat of battle with your biggest rivals, you can't afford to have somebody who's a mouse leading you out. That's my opinion on it, Davey. But I'm very much the same as Kerr. I don't see Clement changing it. I just don't see it. I think Tavernier now at 32 has probably got the same amount of miles on the clock as a player at 35, 36. He's been played so much over the last 7, 8, 9 years since he's been here at 60 games a season, 55 games a season, 65 games a season. And I just think it's catching up on him. And when you've got Maida, who knows he's in his head for the start playing for, because let's be honest, Maida isn't by any great shakes a great left winger, but he's fast, he's direct, and he can finish. So he's not going to skip by Tav. But as you say, if you shut your eyes or turn your back on him for 2 seconds, he's going to make a clever run in behind you, and that's where we'll get stung. But again, what's the other option? Putting Sterling in there. You can play Sterling at right back and Laura, and the chances are he ends up coming off injured and you're playing Tav anyway.
See the Tav thing? I think if that's going to... By the way, I'm all for that. I think it's cost us too much in Old Firm games. I think he is a rabbit caught in the headlights in those games. It's sad to admit this, by the way, because I would never want to admit that. And I think that Maida is in his head. And they will 100% pummel Tav that game if he plays. But if that's the case, and Clement's sitting thinking, I can't play him at Parkhead, we need to sell him next Thursday, or whenever it is, Thursday night or whatever. We need to sell him. There's no point in not getting rid of Tav if there's an option to get rid of him. And then in 2 weeks' time or next week, go at transfer window's gone. By the way, you're not playing against Celtic. Say to him, heads up, we're going to phase you out for the Celtic game coming in. You've got an option to go and during the week. Just take it. But I don't think that's going to happen. So I think he's got, and he's the captain now and all. So it'd be massive if we come to Parkhead and he decides to drop his captain for that game. But he probably needs to, but he won't.
JD, can I stick with you in regards to a sort of positive influence in the team? Curry raised the point. Is our midfield the new compensating for the fact that Tav's deficiencies in the team? So they're covering maybe double the yards that they would be expected to do so if they had trust in their right back. But one guy that seems to be doing the hard yards is Connor Barron, and he spoke to the media today and certainly conducted himself, said all the right things. There's rumours that he could potentially be getting a Scotland call-up. Do you think, in terms of his performances so far, he merits that? And is he certainly coming to the fore as a Rangers player? And has he been a pleasant surprise for you?
I'm not surprised because I've seen a couple of the boys on Twitter that do cut up a bit of analysis. Some of the stuff Connor Barron done in games last year was impressive. And a lot of Aberdeen fans are now saying he was our 4th best centre mid. When you look at the tactical ability he's got, he's an intelligent boy. He's been hands down our best player. equally been one of the best players in the whole league this season. Of course, he's going to get a call up. Probably in 2-3 years' time, he's your natural replacement in there for Scotland. Like, I know you've got Billy Gilmore and you've got McTominay, McGinn, but Conor Barron's a different type of player that could go in right into where McGregor had played for years and years. There are other boys in the league that are doing well, but I would just love to see I would love us to see a strong. I don't need a goal scoring impressive back four. I just want a solid back four, even like Sterling, nice and solid. You know, he's fast, he's powerful, he can great recovery, but he can go forward as well. He's not going to score you 25 goals and get you 25 assists. That's so be it. But if that happens, then you've got Conor Barron and Diomande, who's been in and out of games, but there's definitely something there with one other. That would be really strong, and I think the midfield would be really good. I'd love Raskin to hit the promise. I would love him to hit the promise that we had with him, but again, I think the fans are losing patience with him. I don't know if Clermont fancies him either, so we probably need another one in there. But for me, Barron's been hands down, our best player in the league as well. One of the best players in the league as well.
No, I subscribe to that as well, JD. I think you covered a lot of ground there. Care, if we take JD's point about Barron being that positive influence in the team, Clermont mentioned today in terms of injuries that on the grass next week, back training with the team will be Oscar Cortez. He says Proper's training himself just now, but next week he'll be fully fit. Leon Balogun's back in the selection for tomorrow. So are we starting to look a lot more healthier? Do we have more options than we thought? And obviously Raskin is trained today with the team itself, and the man who's been conspicuous by his absence, Hamza Igamani, has trained the last 3 days. So you expecting to see him on the bench tomorrow?
Igamani, I've not got a clue. I've seen him on internet, but I've not seen, I don't know if he's on the bench. Listen, I think that we have to have a turnover with injuries. We've had a lot of bad luck with injuries over, not just now, but over the last few seasons. But I think some injuries weren't bad, but they were niggles like Proper came in niggle, and Cortez wasn't as bad as we thought either. I think they will come back. I don't know if Cortez will start next week, Davey. I wouldn't put him into the side. I would leave him out for that game. But getting back to like we were saying about Tav, I think with Barron, does a lot of covering for Tav, but I think Golson done that as well. And that's what caught out Connor Golson. I think Suter's done a lot for him at the start of the season. I think he might have been caught out with that as well. So I think we need to play somebody at right back, but it's up to the manager. The manager's got to, like I've always said, if he can play his guys with the strengths to play in these positions, look a lot better. And you've always said stop putting square pegs in round holes, but we've got to play Sterling at right back, but we know he will not. Proper, I think, will come in and do really well. I think Proper's been fine since he's come in. I've actually enjoyed watching him. He's going to need time to settle into the football here, but he likes a challenge. He's good on the ball. Again, his last game, he won up most of these duels in there. So for that kind of money, it's not a lot of money, $1.5 million these days. So he's a decent centre back. I kind of know what JT was saying. We need a centre back in the Colin Hendry type, don't we? Somebody who can just throw their body in front of blocking shots, one headers, no fancy, Dan, just defending and that's it. But you don't get many of them nowadays. Everybody wants to play football. But having no injuries will be good, David. But I don't know if he'll change it up that much because I think he's got the players he wants to play. And you know yourself, if he continues with the 10, it's going to be Lawrence because that's all we've got. So it's good to see if we do get a full squad back to see where he goes because I do think he has to change it up. But like Alexander said in the comments, I think Proper and Suter, more games to get together, I think they could perform a really good partnership there. Balogun's always good to come in, but I think they two could get a good partnership if we can just get somebody sitting in front of them.
By the way, see John Suter playing with Hearts. John Suter was that guy who was winning every header, everything. By the way, John Suter has done. He's really good at blocking the ball in and about the box. He does it quite a lot. John Suter also has a wee mistake in him, and that's with Rangers fans. You do 10 amazing things, 20 amazing things, and that one thing is you remember better than the other things. Because if you think about last season, there were still games where John Suter winning great tackles, winning headers, also then gets the ball down and can play out from the back. So he has got it if he just eradicates and maybe having a Tav and a Golson giving him that nervous energy, perhaps. So maybe that will go once we get rid of these players. He never had really that with Hearts. That's the thing. He was outstanding. He was up for Player of the Year. He was so good. But he came here. It's a big step and a bigger expectation. So perhaps he's maybe struggling to adapt to that. And it might be maybe in the next couple of months that he starts to maybe come through that, maybe.
I mean, Ross, can I throw a couple of questions towards you? The first one is, if you're the manager of Rangers coming into the week ahead, the fact that Proper probably won't play tomorrow and it's probably going to be Balogun and Suter, is that a concern to you that in the week leading up to the Old Firm game that Proper wouldn't play beside John Suter and it's Leon Balogun? So do you stick or do you twist?
I think injuries will dictate that the more that will be the team. But I think when you go into the Old Firm game, you've got to play your best team, haven't you? You've got to. I like JD's point there. John Suter for me got a contract here, and then he played against us in the Scottish Cup final, and that was all done. Won everything that came in the box, blocked everything that came in the box, and I'd quite like to see him and Proper becoming that old-fashioned centre-back pairing where Proper essentially plays like a sweeper and John Suter just goes and wins everything. Because I think that's got a good matchup. If somebody gets by Suter, then they've got Proper covering for him. Whereas up until now, we've very much played with a Goldson and somebody, and the two of them want to be that ball-playing centre-back. The two of them want to do the same job. The two of them are shuffling about. I'd quite like to see Phil Clement just saying to John Suter, see if the ball's above head height, you go and win it. And to be fair, you wouldn't have confidence in him at that now because he's misjudged so many balls. But I do think that, having played football myself, you don't underestimate how hard it is for somebody who's played on the right side of a back three, so totally at the other end of the park, where he's been covering in to play at left centre back, to your natural positioning on the park. A ball's coming out and he's used to going 40 yards to win it in the left back position, whereas he's misjudging things going right, because when he's played in that right side of a back three for so many years, a ball that's going on he's running at the park, whereas when he's playing on the left, he seems to misjudge quite a lot for me, and it's as if he's not really aware of where he is on the park. So I think that could also come into Davey, and I know people will say to me, he's a professional football player getting paid X amount, how does he know where he is on the park? But when you've naturally played in an area of the park, you get used to, if a ball comes and it's in a certain area, I'm going to go and win it. So he's seen a ball dropping in, but he's got 50 yards to the right-hand side of him that he's never usually had. So he's going to attack a ball that would usually run out if it goes by him, and it's running right through the centre of the box. But to answer your question, for me, Proper and Suter both start at Parkhead if available.
And can I just come back to you on the goalkeeping issue, because I think Curry raises a great point in the fact that Jack Butland this season, for pre-season right the way through, hasn't had a settled back four. Has he even had a settled back four in his whole time at Rangers? Is that a problem for a goalkeeper, Ross?
You want to get used to the players you're playing with, of course you do. Down to knowing that your left back's good on the ball and he'll take it on the half turn, which Hefty looks as if he will do. Whereas when he's played with Barisic, you're playing it to Barisic and he's looking to give you it straight back. He's not happy to turn with it. Even positions like you're seeing the new Barron sometimes dropping in and essentially making it a back three when the two wingers are pushing up. Knowing the players and what they like, even the likes of that Proper now playing at the left side of defence. You see if Ben Davies playing in there. So it's even like a pass back, what side's it going to come for? If I'm looking to play a short pass, if Tav gives me it back and I'm looking to open my body to play it out, I'm now playing it to a guy's right foot because the guy's playing left centre half's right footed. So that there is elements of that. But I also wonder, I've mentioned it on here before, mate, I think the defence are in a bit of disarray at times because Jack Butland's been a bit of a bomb scare as well. I think it feeds both ways. But as a goalie, you want a solid back four. And for the last however many years, we've not had that because we've essentially had two a left back and a right back in Barisic and Tav who don't do the basics, which is stop the cross and follow your man into the back post. So if you're a goalie, everything that comes across your box, you're anticipating having to save a shot rather than, oh, there's nobody behind me, I'll go and just claim that. You're worrying about runners coming in from behind you, tapping it in, which is where we've ended up. So that's a bit, obviously I've only ever played at junior level, I've not played at professional. It's probably totally different because you're training and you're staying shape and possession every other day. But at a professional club, you definitely want to work with a back four. Obviously, Wolfie in the comments was that Xander will play in front of a settled back four, either Frankie Kent, Kai Rolls, Kingsley, and it was Cochrane last season. So he gets to know the players. He gets to know the players and what they like, and see if the ball comes back to him and he's got to hit it first time. Does he need to share it, or is Cochrane going to run 20 yards up the park where he can dink it into him? So there's lots of, it's the same as any position. You want three midfielders, but a goalie in his back four or back three or back five really need to have that kind of knowledge of, I know he's going to do this. Whereas if Hefty, Barisic and Ridvan are all three, look to me, totally different left backs. Sterling and Tav are going to be two totally different right backs. Ben Davies is a totally different centre half with what Proper looks. Proper looks as if he wants to be right up somebody's back end when they're trying to get onto the ball. He doesn't want to let folk half turn, whereas Davies would sit 10 yards further off. So there's lots, Davey, that could be affecting Butland, but I also think that Butland right through since the free each game last year at Ibrox, I think has looked ropey, which is also telling on the defence at times as well. Whereas he would come and collect a cross. That doesn't matter on your back, who your back four is for a 6'5" goalie to come and take a cross in the box. But he seems to have stopped doing that as well. So I think there's just a big mixing pot of confusion all going on. And it would really help to get a settled back four for him.
No, I agree with that. I think you're spot on in your analysis there, Ross. GD, if we touch on Ross's point and take it a step further, left back's going to be an issue because Yilmaz is out for the next 4 or 5 weeks, however long it'll be. It seems to be a recurring theme where Ridvan Yilmaz is concerned. Obviously, tomorrow's game is priority and we absolutely need to win it. But I would imagine whoever's playing left back tomorrow will be playing left back next weekend as well. So do you think it'll be Hefty? And in regards to Hefty, would you not prefer him playing further forward? Because I think when he played left wing, it looked like he had that freedom where he didn't need to worry. And if Balogun's playing left centre half tomorrow and Proper's playing left centre half next week, that sort of mix and match isn't going to build continuity. So is that a problem for the young boy?
What young boy? You talk about Hefty?
Hefty, mate.
Well, no, I don't want Hefty. I know he was brought in to play left back, and it might mean by proxy he's going to go into left back. I would much rather play him left forward and play Robbie Fraser. Robbie Fraser's played for the first team about 4 or 5 times, and I've been impressed with him every time. He's been brought into the first team. We've no released him or anything like that. So he's a first team player. He got interviewed during the week, wasn't it? And talking about how he is a first team player now, how it feels. He's 22. He's still a young boy, if you know what I mean. Like, but he's no really. So play him. I actually quite like the idea of Balogun playing alongside him tomorrow, and then maybe Proper, because they're experienced players. So it might be all right that he plays with two different, because both of them can maybe give him different pointers or whatever. I know it's dodging it in an Old Firm game, right? Because it's a different level. Old Firm games have made young boys, and I've got full backing for Robbie Fraser, and that's I just think he's got to play him and play Hefty in front of him. I don't think Hefty's ready to defend in Scotland yet, but Robbie Fraser's done it. This is the sickest thing. I've moaned about the B team playing junior level football. This could be the best thing to bring Robbie Fraser in, because he's played against boys who have just tried to ragdoll him, put the boy at his head. That's all they've done. Ragdoll, put the boy at the tap. No, they don't. Some of the junior games are brilliant, right? But you know what I mean? It's a physical game, and if games aren't going right, they hit the corner. A lot of teams will do that against us. The Mora, they'll do that against us. So I would play. I want him to play, but you're bringing him in for the cold. He's been in squads, but he's not had barely any minutes. He's not even come on off the bench. So to go from there to there, it's a weird one. But I worry that he's going to just go really set and he's going to play Sterling in there, which I don't like playing a right fitter at left back or vice versa.
No, I mean, and I don't think that works for us as well in terms of, if you look at Kuhn in terms of who's got to play right wing for them, he likes to come inside, but he's no the most robust physically. I think Robbie Fraser's a half decent matchup for him in terms of physicality in the left back slot. The one concern I have over Hefty is his temperament, and I don't mean as if to say, but Brazilians have got that wee bit of badness in them where they're not aware of how many fouls they've had. And whilst they shouldn't have been sent off in the European game, he kept putting himself in the physical challenge because he tries too hard. And I think you can't take that out the player if he's got that in him. And it depends who the referee is in the Old Firm game. That would be a worry for me.
Davey, sorry, Davey. See on that, mate. Sorry for interrupting you. See, when you're just saying that there about Kuhn, that probably seals the deal for Sterling to play. Because if Kuhn loves coming inside, that suits Sterling. Because so I say Raheem Sterling, that suits Dujon Sterling because it's going on to his favoured side. It's probably the opposite side, and going forward, you're a bit like, he's always coming inside. But probably, if you think about it, if it's Kuhn, then they'll go Sterling because Kuhn going to come into Sterling's right foot. We can take that. I think I'm happy with Sterling doing that. So that's maybe where Robbie wouldn't come in against Celtic. Could he come in tomorrow? Aye.
Well, this is a thing that I don't know what the team's going to be the more I care. Can you shape it up for yourself? Because I think the way I look at it, I think we're still in transition. The manager said in his press conference today, and I think it's one of the more positive press conferences that Philippe Clement had. He was very open and he was very honest, and he said there will be ins and outs. And I think it was Rahman Bardwaj, STV, that said, can I pinpoint you on how many ins and outs? And he says, I'll not give you guarantees, but I expect ins and outs. So if we're going to expect ins and outs, bearing in mind when Clement signs a player, he doesn't really release them into the Lions Den right away. If we do business in the next week, do you expect new bodies to be in the starting 11 for the Old Firm game, or do you think we'll do that slow bedding in process to protect the player?
I think it just depends who the signing is. Because if it's somebody who thinks he can come in and make an impact straight away, he'll put him in. It's a big game next week because he doesn't want to lose it. Do you know what I mean? Because he knows if he loses it, even with the issues we're having, he's going to go under criticism. Because that's what happens in these games. Doesn't matter how bad you perform before it, how bad your squad is, how bad your injuries are. If you lose a game like that, you get under criticism. And I think he knows that because he's not really winning against them. So I think he knows he will get criticised. But going on to Robbie Fraser, to me, Robbie Fraser has to play tomorrow. If you can't play tomorrow, then when are you going to play him? Do you know what I mean? He mentioned about playing the youth guys, so play him tomorrow. Play Jeffy in front of him. I mean, people's going about don't play Fraser. He's young, he's 2 years older than Hefty. Hefty's only been a professional for over a year. Robbie Fraser's been at Rangers since he was 7, so he knows the club inside out. He's been around the first team, he's been around Ibrox, so he's not going to be scared of going on to play. Because young players don't have fear. It's when you get older, the fear sets in. You see it with Jeffy, when he get booked, he was still used to getting in for challenges. So play him in front of Fraser. I think that could work well, and then they could cover each other, because Robbie can get forward. He's quick and he can put a good ball in. I think he's going to have to try some of the younger guys, because if a player wants to go out, leave, that's great. But it depends who we bring in. He might not bring in the ones we can get. He might want 4 in, he might only get 2. So maybe that's why he's mentioned giving some of these young guys a chance. And Rice deserves a chance. Fraser deserves a chance. McCausland's been given a chance. I know he's a lot of people like Ross, some don't like Ross. I'm not talking about Ross Clark, I'm talking about Ross McCausland. No, but I think Ross McCausland the week played really well. I do think he has to improve his finishing, he has to improve his final ball, but I think his work rate is getting better. I think his positional sense is getting better. So I like to see young players starting, Dave, and you know that I've done it all season. Start to play these guys, because if I not play them now, when are they going to get their chance? And no, but Robbie Fraser has to start them on. If Ballaghan's next to him, that'll help him. You have to in front of him, that'll be really good as well. Because I don't think St Johnstone, it's Ross County, I don't think they're going to come tomorrow with confidence after getting beat last week against Spartans. I think they'll come wanting to prove a point because it's at Hampden and players like to play at Hampden, but also it's against us. They might think, well, Rangers are there for the taking, but I think we have to go out there more straight for kick-off and go for them because they'll be scared in case they get beat again just because of what happened last week and they'll know what I can see earlier. So I think we have to. But the manager just has to play their players, one, who are fit, and two, some have got a point to prove to him. So hopefully he does that and hopefully some of the young boys start. But I like to see Robbie Fraser giving a start. Yeah, I think that's the right way to go.
Ross, I want to touch on the guy that is the enigma, Cyriel Dessers. Obviously, a lot of media speculation and confirmed speculation at that Atalanta FC in America, MLS, were looking to purchase him for everything we've heard, from $6 million to €6 million to £6 million. But he shot it down right away as if he's not ready to go and play in the MLS. He still thinks he's got a part to play in European football. Is he integral to what we do now? Are we going to get better than Cyriel Dessers for the money that we have available? Or do we keep progressing with this guy? And if we do keep progressing with this guy, do we have to find a sort of style of play that suits him? Because he's not the type of guy that's going to hold the ball up for midfielders to run off him. So how do we change the shape to get the most out of Cyriel Dessers?
Mate, I'm like I'm a chameleon. I come and go with Cyriel Dessers. Like he misses chances in big games, right? He's cost us big games, but see, he's had a full pre-season with the team. He's come in, he's played 5 games, he's scored 3 goals and had 1 assist. See if that's a new signing. See if we'd have went and bought a Shankland, then he came in and scored 3 goals and had an assist in his first 5 games, we'd be singing his praises. So, a boy I know, Mumphy, I see him on Twitter all the time, and he's gone, he'll go 30 goals this season, and it wouldn't surprise me, because he looks as if he's found his groove, he looks as if he's confident, he looks as if he's got the answers, but the big test will come next week. When has he got the balls when we get one chance against Celtic? Has he got the chance to score it? See if he goes there and scores next week and we get something at that game, the tide's totally turned for him. The tide's absolutely turned for him. At the end of last season, I said I would have let him go, but right now, with the mess Danilo seems to be in, with his fitness and obviously with the serious injury he had at the end of last season, even if you done what I said at the end of last season, you sell Dessers for $4 million, you go and buy Shankland. Who's to say Shankland comes in and hits the ground running on day one and doesn't? I think we're at the tickly stage when it comes to signings and the part of the season we're at, because in the lead up to the Old Firm game, the transfer window is getting to the tickly bit as well, and we can't afford to sell the guy that's scoring all our goals now when you might bring somebody in to replace him that just doesn't get it, doesn't click, and then it costs you games. Because if the very worst was to happen next week, you can't then go on a run of he's down, that's us at the title race, we're 4 points behind, blah, blah, blah. You've got to then get back in the horse, and I think he's the type of guy that's shown that he's got the attitude and he's got the balls, that he wants to be here, he wants to stone up, he'll take the criticism when it comes, and he'll take the praise when it comes, and he doesn't seem to get too up nor down about it. And to be honest, when you've got a guy like that in your team who's got four goal contributions, as Joshua Barry would call them, in 5 games, then can you afford to get rid of it? Can you afford to get rid of it? I need to apologise, by my dog's gone mental behind
your leg.
Just in case you can hear her. That's Cole as well. She's sick. She's sick as anything. She's calling a bit like Scott Youngstar. She's been ill. She's been ill for the whole day today. I think it's because she paid £6 a month to go on Mad Phil's blog and he thought her Ibrox was full of asbestos. She's not been the same since we found out the stadium was opening at the end of this month. So she's in the couch ill.
Can I jump in?
Very articulate put, Ross. But if we could take Ross's point on a step further, Curry's asking, in regards to Dessers, if he's the person that gets that chance, whether that be the Morris game, whether that be next week's game, if we're being honest as Rangers fans, we're not expecting him to take it. He sometimes scores the most wonderful goal you've ever seen, but he doesn't score what I would class the chances that you would bet your house on. And is that a concern for a Rangers striker going forward?
I'm grabbing the old ears because I just don't know what to do with Dessers. Like, I'm sitting listening to Rossi's, right? Like, in this moment, it's just paining me because I've been a pure critic. It's not a big problem for us. He's scoring goals. He scored 3 goals already, 1 assist, 5 games, 4 goal contributions. Right? That's not a problem for us. That's really, really good. I'm going to put my neck in the line here. I think the tide is turning with him. I'm saying that with hope as well. I think the tide is turning with him. But if somebody comes in with 6 million tomorrow, I'm biting their horn off because I still believe we could get someone better for Dessers for the same money or less. But Dessers is ready to go just now. So somebody said, yeah, so that one there, Ian was saying about Romania or whatever his name was. There's no guarantee that boy would have been 4 or 5 million and would have been good in Scotland. It's a gamble. Every player you bring for Europe is a gamble because we go back to Dinosaur Hans. That was a gamble for Celtic. It didn't work, right? So, but we know what Dessers' geese is. Now, somebody else said we don't play to his strengths. What is his strengths? Is my next thing. I'm going to and fro here. I just don't know. I just don't think he's a big problem for us right now because he's scoring. Sorry to get back to the question. I'm mere shocked if he scores, aye.
Well, we're a week and a wee bit to go in the transfer window, Kerr. What do you honestly think we need? If you're analysing the squad just now, and if we take into account the fact that we think they're going to lose at least one key player, and I think that's an integral part of how they play in terms of that one key player leaving the building. That's not going to be easy shoes to fill in that respect for them. So what can we do to combat that? Where do we strengthen? Is it all over the park? One defender, one midfielder, one forward player? What do you think with a week to go in the window we need in order to mount a title challenge?
I think you need a centre back in, and I think you need a left back in. I think you can't rely on Ridvan. But also, I said to Davey maybe 4 or 5 pods ago, Dessers was the least of their problems. And I also said he needs players running about him. I think the 10 doesn't work with him. If it's their mandate, mate, because he's more mobile than Lawrence. Lawrence is about as mobile as me, and I'm 52, so he can't move, and neither can I. But I think, see, Dessers, I mean, we've all criticised him. The 4 years have all criticised him. Everybody watching us has criticised him. But his numbers are there. And I get fed up with people saying, but he's no Morelos. Morelos worked hard, but he couldn't finish for shit either. Dessers is the better finisher than Morelos. But Alfie held the ball up well. That's not Dessers' game. He wants players running off him, round about him. Listen, he tries a wee flex and he gives it away. But see if you've got guys running off him, he knows where they are. It'll work. And I'm all for him playing this season. Dessers, Ross is right, and so is JD. He looks confident. He gets criticism, but he rubs it off because he's confident in his own ability to say, I'm going to score again and prove he's wrong. He scored 20 odd goals last season. If he'd have bought somebody else and come in and scored that, we'd have been singing his praises. We would have. But he gets criticised because he misses 1 or 2 chances. Morelos missed chances. Kenny Muller missed chances. Boydie missed chances. He never scored much against them either. McCoy's missed chances. So it's not just a Dessers thing. It's a striker thing. We've got to get other players in the team scoring. That's the main issue because not enough players in the team score, and it's usually Cyriel Dessers is bailing us out, and that's the problem.
Can I come in for you, JD? Can I come in for you? So I like this. Do you know what this is? This is just balanced. People just, as if you're sitting with your mates throwing ideas about. But the issue we've got is there's other people and there's other podcasts and there's other people who are big on Twitter who are really influential, and a lot of people view it and they're just, this guy's shite, Tav's shite, Dessers is shite, Matondo's shite, this one. See, for me, last season, Dessers got a pass. It's his first season, new country, no new language because he spoke pretty good English, new teammates, new league to get used to. Never done a pre-season with the club, a full pre-season. This year, you can only take him on. For me, a new season's a new slate. He's come through pre-season. He's done all right. When it's got to the season starting, he's contributing. So I think as well that it doesn't help when we've got people who are just constant noise. We need to get rid of him. We need to get rid of this one. We need to get rid of that one. They're shite. Like, as I said, if you signed a new striker and he came in this season and gave you the same goals and assists that Dessers gave you, we would be saying it's an absolute masterstroke that we've got.
And JD,
Sorry, let me jump in. What I know we're going to have time here, but this is what me and Ross do. What I was going to say was, Robert had said there, stop hiding. We need a new right back. And this is a kind of recurring theme we've seen in the last couple of weeks when we've been doing pods. I mean, we've been seeing comments once we finish and stuff, like as if we're defending Tav. We are not defending Tav at all. I'm telling you right now, I think Tav's time's up. I think he's looking really bad. We've just spoke about it 20 minutes ago about how Celtic will destroy us if he plays. So we do need a right back, right? We do. But when Sterling's there, then if Sterling can drop in there, then I'd play Sterling. So it's probably not as pressing as getting a left back in, because we've got a left back that can't play there because he's always injured. One thing Tav does is play. Now, equally when he plays, he's costing his games, and I firmly believe it perhaps will cost us next week again. And this could end Clement if he persists with somebody like Tav. So definitely no hiding. Do I want a right back as a must? No, because I think Sterling could go and play in there. So I think there's other positions, that centre mid, centre half, even a left back. I don't know what's happened with any, even another striker or another sided winger or whatever. Before I would go and try and find a right back if we can trust Sterling to play.
Right, everybody in the comments, get your predictions in for tomorrow. We'll flag them up with goal scorer and scoreline. Kerr, if I can just bring a subject that we've no managed to touch on, just to round things off in the next couple of minutes. It broke today that there is potential that we might be back in our own stadium much sooner than we anticipated. That's got to be a massive positive going forward, especially for the European campaign.
It's a big positive. It's a big positive for the fans, because like last week we seen empty seats at Hampden. Listen, I know a lot of the boys have bought tickets and no been to some games, but are still buying their tickets for these games. They just don't like going to Hampden, so they're still spending their money. They're just not going to the game, and that doesn't look great. But at least they're still buying a ticket. And listen, we want to play at Hampden. We want to be at Ibrox. That's where we play. That's our home. And some of the new guys we've signed haven't played there yet either, so it'll be a big plus for them. But we feel comfortable there. Hampden's great for a semi-final or a cup final because it's a national stadium. You think one-off games are great, but games every week, it's awful. It is awful. So hopefully we're back sooner rather than later. And listen, I'll just say what JD said. We all think Tavernier's done. Every single one is, but we can't sit here and say sell him, not sell him, because we don't get any say. But we all think he shouldn't be right back. But that's up to manager, and we've all said as well that could cost a manager. Hopefully it doesn't, but it probably will, because we all know Tav's legs are away, and his mind might not be, but his legs are. And even Ross said
I think his mind might be away. Yeah, I think his mind.
We get Tynecastle. He didn't look great either. We watched the game, but he's seen him up close. So listen, Tav's been a great servant for us. We all know that, especially what he costs. But I think his time, he's been here maybe a season or 2 seasons longer than he should have. But he's his testimonial coming up, and that could be a reason he maybe want to stay as well.
So, Kerr, if I'm going to start with you, what's your prediction? First goal scorer and scoreline for tomorrow?
Going for 3-0 and Dessers.
3-0 Dessers. Ross?
4-1 Diamandi.
4-1 Diamandi. Oh, I quite like the sound of that. That'll return good odds. What about yourself, JD? I seen you snap in the comments there, mate.
Sorry, I forgot you were going to come to us. I think I'm just going to go with the big man to get a hat trick and just go for it. But there's Ricky back. Ricky's back in the comments.
I'm going to bring this one up because I want to touch on this. Is there no membership to join? No, Socrates. This is the podcast that is and always will be free. Remember that. Print a t-shirt with it, but no one that we provide. I'm going to go for I'm going to go a wee bit outside the box. I'm going to go Balogun first goal and 6-1.
Fucking hell.
I'm expecting goals and more a confidence builder, a strong header for a corner, and that's got to set us off. So just before we round off things tonight, I would just like to give thanks to everybody in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends about us. My thanks to Ricky Forbes, who disappeared and then reappeared in the comments, Mr. Scott Kerr, Ross Clark, and JD. And remember, it's the podcast that is and always will be free. We'll be back on Monday night, and it's good night from them, and it's good night from me. Good night.